I think everybody who's watching this podcast knows who you are, and if they don't, then guess what? They're about to know.
So my name is Fateh Singh.
I think everybody who's watching this podcast knows who you are, and if they don't, then guess what? They're about to know.
Yeah.
Not just the Fateh they see online or in the social
Yeah.
realm, the music, but I want to get to know who Fateh is, right? Fateh's
Beautiful.
journey as a Sardar Singh in the music industry, holding it down, representing what that was like, right? And I think, first of all, like I said, I really appreciate it. We truly appreciate it. Given you gave us your time to
Absolutely.
come out here and do this, Fateh, man. Where you are today and how you got here. If we can go back years, maybe decades, of what made you get into this line of being in the music industry, especially at a time when where Singhs or Sardars weren't into the hip hop culture. You never really heard of anybody.
Yeah. No, you didn't. You
Yeah.
didn't. Yeah.
Young Fateh days, right? Is like, what inspired you to get into music and make this your lifelong passion?
Yeah. I mean, first, let's give him some context, right? So my name is Fateh, right? Fateh Singh. I rap, sing, songwrite. I don't produce. I was gonna say produce, but I think people just say that.
Yeah.
I think what you were saying, my upbringing. So born in Thailand.
Okay.
My parents left India in the 80s, early 80s, as there was a lot of things going on. It was unsafe for a lot of Sikhs in India at that point. And my parents left around that time. They went to Thailand, full-time jobs out there. They had a good life set out. And then I was born there.
Yeah.
Then I moved to California
Okay.
when I was 5 years old.
Yeah.
They, like yourself, you were from Cali as well. They grew up in Cali until I was 18.
Okay.
And then moved to Toronto once again.
Yeah.
So moved to Toronto, which was the opposite coast, another country. And then I've been in Toronto for the last couple decades almost. My career, as you were talking about, kind of like really took off in Toronto, but I was rapping and doing stuff in high school in California.
Okay.
So contextually, that's kind of been the journey. Now we could get in deeper of
I'm
what
sure.
was what.
I'm sure questions will come up.
Yeah,
Like, if I take it back to like, what was your first memory of like actually like before the memory, like what made you want to get into this line?
Yeah, good question. And I think like if I could just change the question to like no, not change, but like my answer wouldn't be made me.
Okay.
Because for people like you and I
Sure.
in California in the early 2000s,
Yeah.
you don't think of music, you don't think of artistry as something that's even possible.
Absolutely.
There's no kind of, record label or a door you could knock on to even be like, hey, how do I even record a song? Like, let's go to early 2000s, let's go to Windows 98. You know what I mean? How do you even record a song? Everything's on CDs. Like, where do you get instrumentals from? So, made me is like, I wish something made me, right? It's just, takra kha kha ke ਇੱਥੇ ਪਹੁੰਚੇ ਆ, but because I guess there's that passion, right? Like, you have a passion for real estate and for, podcasting and in this general knowledge, and, you figured out a way to do it. And
Sure.
for me, it wasn't like, okay, I woke up one day and like, I want to become a rapper. I want to make music because it was so far-fetched. The idea of ever becoming an artist was impossible.
Okay.
Sometimes I look back
Yeah.
at my life and I'm like, when you want to, like, all of us go through it where we gripe and complain and we're like, oh, like ani ho raha or enne view nahi mile or enne stream nahi mile. But then I'm like, yo, you like the life I live right now is like something I couldn't imagine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm not talking about like physical things. I'm talking about the fact that I've been able to, work with every one of my favorite Punjabi artists and like tour the world.
Yeah.
And like I live like a nomad almost sometimes. Like I'm like everywhere. And this is when I was in Cali, like I used to look at planes like, oh, I wish I could get on a plane and travel.
That's awesome.
So the fact that, like, you know what I mean? So I know this is a really long-winded answer to your question.
I want to listen. It's all good.
But so back to what made me, I think what made me was my passion for music.
Yeah.
I started off doing kirtan Professor Dalbir Singh, my uncle, Ragendra's dad,
Hanji.
who taught me Kirtan, his mom as well, Ragendra's mom. And they taught me Kirtan, and I think Kirtan was a part of my journey early on.
Yeah.
And then Tol and Bhangra was a part of my journey. So I
Okay.
played Tol, and I professionally danced for like 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
In the Bhangra circuit back in
Okay.
the 2000s, which was also a very like thing. And then I loved hip hop. I grew up in a school or area where I was the only Punjabi person there. So when I went to school, like we all when I mingled with other people
Yeah.
from other races, other cultures, like hip hop was our melting point, or where
sure.
our meeting point, where we all came from different backgrounds, spoke different languages, but we all understood hip hop.
Yeah.
And hip hop is what I took to as well, very very early.
Yeah.
Like I'm talking Rough Riders, Tupac.
Yeah.
Biggie. My dad was a Michael Jackson fan.
Oh, wow.
So it's like music's always been around me.
Okay.
That passion's always been there. I was shooting music videos with Lovepreet, the guy you saw today. So when we were in like third, fourth grade, my dad had a camcorder with a big cassette,
Yeah.
and I was making fake music videos with that in third,
Yeah, yeah.
fourth grade. So all that to say, like, this passion is what drove me to this position. And you were saying something off camera is like, alignment, like when you want something,
Yeah.
and when you work hard at it, it kind of, the universe aligns itself to get there.
Sounds like your upbringing, that environment.
Yeah.
You were involved in this line in one way or another, right? Whether you were learning some instruments, or actually doing the dances in that music and entertainment line, right?
Yeah. And my parents were poets, are poets.
Oh, wow.
So they do Punjabi poetry. My mom's released like 4 books in Punjabi.
That is awesome.
So like being like, it's an all-encompassing thing, like being around all of this music, talent, lyrics, right, poems, and then just figuring it out for myself. Yeah.
So if we talk about like figuring out, how did it go? Like, so it sounds like it wasn't never like, oh yeah, I'm gonna become an artist. It's just you're going and things are coming your way. At what point did you get where you're like, I want to pursue this? Was it
That's a good question. The reason why I laugh is because I was already pursuing it, and I didn't know I was pursuing it.
What do you mean by that?
So once again, like, it just was such a far-fetched idea.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And you got to remember, like, this is before you could get paid off YouTube.
Yeah.
You could get paid off streams.
Yeah.
So, like, when you're a kid and you're, like, looking at it, it's like, okay, cool. Even if I wanted to pursue it, how am I going to make money?
Yeah.
That was the thing. Like, now, like, if I was a 20-year-old now and, trying to make music, there's avenues. Like, all right, I'm going to record a song. I could get this many streams. I can make this much money. I could get this many views. I can make this much money.
Yeah.
Then I can go to the show. I could go, perform my song. I could charge this much if I have this type of, fan base following. Like, there's a way now.
Yeah.
But back then, it's like, it was record label. They give you money, then they sell your CDs, and then when you get popular enough, you could go perform.
Sure.
So, like, you know what I mean? So even when I was already kind of doing the circuit of performing and all that stuff, like, I'm talking about Pendu, like, that's a song that you mentioned earlier. Like, I was doing that, but I was working at Best Buy.
Yeah.
So take that in, right? Like, I have a song, Pendu, that's like going on charts or whatever in India, but I had no idea, and I was still working at Best Buy.
Yeah.
So even when I was pursuing it, I didn't know I was pursuing it.
Yeah.
Because it didn't, the avenue of like how to make it a career.
Sure.
Just, and maybe this is something that comes from our generation or growing up in California, where it just seems so far-fetched, like that idea. And then you were saying something earlier about how like our parents sometimes don't encourage us to get into the arts because of like, it's just not a
society
like subconsciously you're just like, nah, this is never gonna happen. So I was pursuing it, and then I was clocking in for work at Best Buy, right? So it's like, oh, like, what I mean, chalo and nak ho gaya bo vadiya,
Yeah.
But I guess to answer your question, when I fully went in, and let me give you the actual answer now. So when I fully went in, is I had finished university.
Okay.
And I graduated, and I wasn't gonna go do what I was like, did my my, what is it called when you do your major? Yeah,
degree.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not gonna go do this. Like, this
pursue it.
Yeah, and then like Pendu had already been popping.
And Pendu was what year?
I don't know, man.
2013, 14?
13, 14.
13,
Yeah, like I
14-ish?
think so, right? I
Yeah.
think it's been 10 years now. So like but even before that I had like dual number with like Bilal, and then I was on Bilal's album, Kuku, what other, there was a bunch of stuff that was happening, and it would happen so rapidly.
Yeah.
Because like just the way it happened, it just boom, 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 boom. But I, because we lived in the West, there was things that were bubbling in India that I had no idea, and I hadn't gone to India in like a decade at that
Yeah,
point.
yeah.
So what happened was I finished university and I was still at Best Buy. And then I was looking at it, I'm like, this is not a job. Like, this is not a career. My mom's like, you have to keep a job. You can't like not have a job. And I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, but I'm like not getting paid much.
While you're in Toronto, right? Your
Yeah, this
university? Okay.
all of
Okay.
this is in Toronto. So I
Perfect,
finished
perfect.
university, right? And then
Yeah.
like, um, and society tells you, yo, you have to have a job, nahi tu nakamaya, and like that.
Yeah.
Like, there's no creative career at that point,
Hanji, hanji.
right? So like now I think it's very normal to like, yo, I could just work from home and have like a social media career, and like
Yeah.
we're good. At that point,
You
that
can
that
make money
wasn't.
sitting at home, right?
Yeah, it wasn't that. So then like, what happened was I had a show in Oslo, in Norway,
Okay.
right? And I'd never been to Norway. And at that time, I wasn't getting paid for shows,
Okay.
but I was getting like what Zeus was taking me on shows with him.
Sure.
Like he was giving me like a little bit of money, but it was like I get to go. And to me, I'm like, I might not ever have this opportunity again to go travel.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I've never traveled before.
Yeah.
So I'm like, to go on somebody like someone's paying for my flight, someone's paying for my
Yeah.
hotel,
Oh, yeah.
to go to Oslo, Norway, or like UK I was going to that time, or I had gone to India and Thailand, like all these places that
Yeah.
as a 22-year-old, 23-year-old,
Yeah.
you're getting to go for free. Like, it's unimaginable. And then I had told work that I gotta go to Oslo 4 weeks in advance, like the normal stuff. And the day I was supposed to go, they're like, you gotta come just for this like 2 hour meeting, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, okay, bet I'll come to the meeting. And I was about to head out, and they're like, yo, you can't go. I'm like, why? They're like, you can't go to Oslo. I'm like, I can't go to Oslo, like that, like Norway. Why? They're like, somebody called in sick, so you can't go. You have to fill his position.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but I told you guys, like the normal.
Yeah,
"Oh,
sure,
hey,
sure.
I told you guys da. And they just kind of strong arm me to
Yeah.
like, and I think that's like, maybe that was the universe testing my faith.
Yeah.
Right. Like, did I really believe in myself or not? And then I'm like, nah, man, I'm gonna go. Like,
Yeah.
do you know how much a flight to Oslo costs? Like,
Yeah.
I won't make that in a month here.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you know what I mean? So they're like, okay, well, if you go, you have to resign.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, I looked at him and said, show me where to sign.
Yeah.
And he thought I was bluffing.
Yeah.
He didn't think I was going to resign.
Yeah.
I was like, show me where to resign. I resigned. I
On the
walked out
spot.
that door, took my
Yeah.
whatever, the Vardi off. I never looked back.
Let's talk about that,
Yeah.
that moment, bro. I
Yeah.
think, I can relate to a personal story of mine where I had to make a decision like that and I actually had to resign.
Yeah.
We're talking about GNC.
Mm-hmm.
I had to resign from GNC.
Mm-hmm.
But that's another story. But like, talk about that moment, man. I think, sometimes in life you're dealt with situations like that, especially for someone who's out there and you're getting this experience, you're just going through it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And for you to make that decision where you're like, man, I got no money coming in from these shows I'm doing. I'm getting this experience is great. And you
Yeah.
have you could say your income.
Yeah.
And for you as a 22-year-old
Yeah.
to make that decision, like, was it just a natural thing or did you have to really think about it?
No, I thought about it. At the moment, it was kind of like, at the moment, it didn't matter to me because I know, like, I just looking at it financially.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, think about a flight to Norway and like hotel,
Yeah.
and then like this career that I'm trying to do,
Yeah.
like the bad blood I'll create with not showing up to a show,
Oh, yeah.
and then like with Zeus and all that, like missing a flight, like that was way bigger, that impact, and financially it was a bigger impact.
Yeah.
Ki pata kal nu, they're like, I'm young at that point. What if they're like, all right, you didn't show up, you owe us X amount for the flight and
Sure,
hotel.
sure.
So at that point, I'm like, it didn't even make sense, and I did everything that I was supposed to do as far as the job goes to make sure I show up, right?
Okay.
So at that point, it didn't make sense. But I think to answer your question, it was after the fact.
Yeah.
So when I got back, my store manager or the store manager was calling me like, "Yo, we need you back at Best Buy." Da, da, da. Like, so funny. We need you back at Best Buy. We need you back at work. All this stuff, and again, like, I didn't see an end. Like, I never thought, even at that point, like, oh, I would ever make money off music. I
Yeah.
never thought that.
Yeah.
Not because I was what's the word? Not because I was pessimistic. It was because I didn't see the way.
You just don't know what you don't know.
And I think just to add to that, and something you may not know as well, like prior to that, 10 years before that, all I ever got was hate.
Yeah.
Like the whole
I know.
community hated me so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just never saw that. Hey, like, okay, now the tides are turning and people are they kind of like me.
Yeah.
But I couldn't see the fact that like it would go from such negativity to like my life being positive, where I can make money and have a career out of it. Because it didn't life had showed me otherwise for the longest time.
And I want to touch on that, man.
Yeah.
And if you can share a little bit about the earlier 10 years.
Yeah, but
Were
I'm
you,
gonna answer your question first, and then we'll go to that. So the question was like, what was that moment of like deciding that I want to pursue music for
it's
the
a
full
life-changing
time, right?
decision.
Life,
Yeah.
and then like not go back to this like dead end job. I think there was two things that that come to mind. One was I was talking to my friend Jagmeet Singh, who's a politician,
Okay.
in Canada. Shout out
We're
Jagmeet.
familiar.
Yeah. And I remember he was at my studio because he used to record his commercials there. This is when he was, not this massive politician. I think he was MPP for Brampton.
Okay.
And he used to record his radio commercials at my studio.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Yo, you look down." Like, and we weren't that close. And Jagmeet is 10 years older than me, but like always a big brother to all of us around. And he's like, "You look a little bit down." And I told him what I was going through. And then he's like, "Yo, how old are you?" I'm like 22. And then he's like, "What are you doing? Like, what do you use your money for from work?" I'm like, like gas. I go out,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, with my friends, maybe buy a couple things. That's
Yeah.
about it. He's like, "What's more important to you? Your dreams are buying, a pair of shoes and like eating out,
Eat some food. Yeah.
yeah." And I'm like, "My dreams." And then he was like, he's like, "If you don't make money for the next year, are you gonna go homeless?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "No."
Yeah.
Like he's like, "You have a family, you're good. Like, you're not out there in the streets. You're not doing weird stuff. Like you're pursuing your passion." And he kind of contextually put it to me, as sometimes when you're younger, you can't like logically think like that. You think very emotionally.
Yeah.
And when he put that into those words, I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Why don't you try it out for a year?"
Yeah.
And he's like, a dead end job will always be here for you.
Always come back to it.
Always be here. But he's like, an opportunity to perform in these places and work with your favorite producer who you've been looking up to since you were a kid, and work with all these artists and stuff like that doesn't come along very often, especially to like somebody like you who's, gone through so much.
Yeah.
And he's like, like, don't make that mistake of like, you don't want to be, he's like, I remember him telling me, he's like, you don't want to be like 35, 30, looking back like, man, I should have done it.
Yeah.
Right. And you didn't do it because you were scared or you're fearful. And I know sometimes like we let our fears win over ourselves. Right.
Yeah.
And it was a hard conversation to have with my parents as well. Like, hey, like, I'm done school, but I need a year to kind of figure out this music stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, just give me a year. Okay. Like, let me figure it out.
They were supportive?
They were weird about it. They're like, what the hell? But then what happened was that I was gone so much that like I couldn't be in that energy of like, oh, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So I was, and then like right after I quit, like then I'm like flying to Dubai twice a month. Like I was going to India. I was like doing weeks and weeks and weeks in England.
Okay.
Like me and Zeus and Zora were like, that's when Inch came about.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I was putting in that effort and then like, putting in that time.
Yeah.
And I was really grinding, like sleeping on
Those were
couches.
some hitters back.
Yeah, but
those days, man.
those are the
Those
days. But like
songs.
the best memories of those days aren't really like the songs. It's like, man, like I remember I was like in London. I've never traveled before, and I'm like on these like crazy trains with all my luggage and all my suitcases and stuff like that. Like taking the 2-hour train to Birmingham,
Yeah.
and like tukke on all that stuff. And it's like
The real hustle.
yeah,
The
all
real
that. And then I'm
hustle.
like sleeping in studios and sleeping on the floor and like crashing in bad hotels. Oh my
Yeah.
god, the shittiest hotels you could think of.
Yeah.
Still to this day, but they built so much character.
Yeah.
And it really showed that like what really mattered to me was this passion that I had since I was
Yeah.
a kid, and how much I loved what I did. So yeah, and that was a decision. I never looked back after that. Like till this day, I've never been like.
I know.
And I'm so glad like Jigme talked to me about it, and I'm glad I made that decision and believe myself, because sometimes that's the hardest part, to believe in yourself.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and
Yeah.
I'm glad it sounds like you had a really good friend that was there to kind of give you that advice.
Yes, yeah. All my friends are great, man.
A lot
Yeah,
of similarities, man.
Yeah.
So that's awesome, brother.
Thank you.
But and this is where you're saying, you kind of just took off and you went through it.
Mm-hmm.
But you mentioned something about the hate. and
Yeah.
I want to touch on that. I don't want to touch on it too much,
Sure.
but man, it's funny. I was talking to my wife. This was probably when I was like 12 to 13.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe 2004, 5, 6. You were still living in the Bay Area.
Yep.
And I think you probably put it on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
That's when the first time I heard your name. Right?
Damn, that was a long time ago.
It was through either MySpace.
Yep.
We used to back then put some songs in your cover.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and I remember, right? And I think...
Did we ever talk on MySpace?
What was that?
Did you and I ever
No,
link on
no,
MySpace?
no,
Okay.
no, bro. Like,
Okay.
if I tell you, I think, we were, because we're so molded by the environment that we're in, we as brown boys growing up in Lodi, Stockton, all the Monday, we're like, who the f is this guy?
Yeah.
Right? Like, we were
that's the energy.
Kids, bro.
That was the energy.
We don't realize, we're like, hey, what the hell? Why was that energy there? Sometimes we're trying to figure that out. Yeah. Right. And to see where you're at today. So I can only imagine, the comments that you got, and, how was that early 10 years, bro?
I forget about it, to be honest. Right. Yeah. It was tough, man. It was like a really dark time for me. So I'll give you just giving you some more context and the viewers, like, imagine, pre WhatsApp era where you can just call your friends or FaceTime your friends and like be with your friends. You finish high school and you leave to another country where you know no one. Yeah. And then you not only do you go to a country that you don't know no one, I think like out here in California, West Coast, like when there's a newcomer, kind of, somebody new, we're more accepting of them and we bring them.
Chill vibes.
Yeah. I found Canada at that time more cliquey. So like people knew the groups that were around, they knew each other since they were kids. And a lot of people hang out with their cousins. They're like born with their cousins. So they have their cliques and they're not trying to hang out with anybody. They're just like, we have our clique. We're not trying to add nobody to the mix. Yeah. So, man, it was just tough, man. I don't even know. So I was there, didn't know nobody, barely made any friends, even though I tried. I'm a very social person. Yeah. And then I was doing music because that's all I had to do. Yeah. Like I literally had nothing else to do. I had no friends. Yeah. I had no just billa, hana. Yeah. So I would just be in university. I went to Sheridan College, the infamous Sheridan College. Yeah. Me and Sonny Malton and Big Word were all there. I've known them since that time. Okay. And I was there, and then I was just doing music 24/7. Like I was either at school or just doing music. Yeah. And I'm talking about Friday night, all day Saturday, all day Sunday. Like this is when mixtape Wayne was really you know what I mean? And I was really inspired by that work ethic, and that's something that drove me. So I was sitting there doing 3 songs a night, 3 verses, writing it, recording it, all that stuff. Early.
And this is right. And so I want to kind of transition into from this point where you're making some of this music. Are you just kind of releasing anything? Yeah. This is before Zeus, right?
Oh yeah, way before
definitely
Zeus.
Before Zeus.
Yeah.
So what was that era like before Zeus? Were you putting out songs by yourself? Were you? Yeah.
No, that's exactly what I was doing. So I was since MySpace.
Okay.
Since MySpace.
I know you were putting them on back then,
bro. Since high school, I was recording stuff and putting it on MySpace, and then YouTube came on. So recording stuff, throwing it on YouTube. Yeah. Then visual, I was it's funny because a lot of podcast, not vloggers. Or it's a very normal thing. Yeah. I did my first vlog early. I was probably one of the first Desi guys to do a vlog. This was
2002 or 3.
No, I want to say 2007, 8.
High schoolish. Okay.
Yeah, I was doing vlogs then. Yeah. You know what I mean? I was cutting up I had a camera with a little cassette. Yeah. Uploading it to the computer, editing it on Movie Maker, that type of I've been in kind of this creative space for forever.
Yeah. When you received that hate, right? What kind of hate was it? Everything, person, everything? Everything. Discrimination?
No, not discrimination. Maybe discrimination too. I think it was just it was a lot, bro. It was I think, so the whole point of me saying when I moved there, I didn't know anybody. When you have a crew, you kind of have confidence, right? When you have a little bit of, Sorry, my I have a cold today, guys. So sorry. But when you have a crew, you have a little bit more confidence, and you know the people around you could really give you a haunsla.
Yeah.
Like it's cool.
Hanji.
I didn't have that.
Yeah.
So then imagine not having that. Then I was like releasing music, putting it out, and then like just the hate was like incredible. It was just like it was. I remember like like I remember like dislike ratios.
Yeah.
It would be like 95% dislike, 5% like.
Yeah.
Out of 500 comments at that time,
Yeah.
only like maybe 20 would be like positive.
So
Everything else was like, F this Gamney, this guy sucks, who's this, da, da, da. And like, the videos are still archived. I think the comments got deleted, but like, anybody who lived in that era or was alive at that era remembers that era. Like, it was like, it became a thing to like, it was normalized to hate on Fateh.
Yeah.
And it was like a thing. Like, yeah, we don't like Fateh. Whether like they even heard me or not, it became that. And then your question was was it in person? Yes, absolutely yes. It was in person. It was like, cause I was in Toronto and there's so many Desis everywhere.
Yeah.
So it's like, if I lived in Seattle somewhere, like I'm sure it wouldn't affect my day to day.
Sure.
But when it affects your day to day, and that was new to me, especially as a young adult, when you're like, man, like this is day to day. Like I'm walking through class, people are saying something, oh, I'm on the bus.
Yeah.
People are saying something like I'm at Tim Hortons and like I hear something like, so like it just got to that point, and then anybody I met, they're like, oh, you're that guy, right? Like, yo, like, such and such told me about you. Yeah, like, I heard you sock, this, that. Like, people would say stuff like that. Sometimes it wouldn't even be malicious. Kids are just kids. But it really gets to you, especially, your self-esteem and all that kind of stuff. So I dealt with a lot of that. And I remember, like, looking at my old photos, and I used to hide myself a lot.
Yeah.
Like, I used to wear sunglasses all the time. I can never wear sunglasses now.
Yeah.
And I used to wear sunglasses all the time. Then I would, like, tie my parka back, and I would have, like, those hats with the fur on the side?
Bro, I used to have one. That's the Cali swag.
Yeah. Like, but not like a hat. Like, it was like more of like a
little Eskimo.
Eskimo thing. I would like, bro, just walk around in that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I would walk really fast. I'd look down.
Yeah.
Like you see me walk. I don't do that anymore, right?
No,
like
man.
it's so, but like going back at that, like it was just like, I was trying to minimize myself. Because it was so real, I was around it a lot.
Yeah, I can only imagine, bro. I mean, what you
Yeah.
just mentioned, you had 500 comments and 480 would be negative.
Yeah,
I can only imagine as an 18, 20-year-old
Yeah.
reading this and what
Yeah.
it does to you psychologically. Like,
Yeah.
how did you break past that barrier, bro? Like,
Yeah.
I posted a video like a month ago.
Huh.
It went viral.
Yeah.
We had like 18 million views.
Oh, beautiful.
Man, de Gezi.
Yeah, in the
Airbnb.
Yeah.
It
I've
flooded.
seen it.
I sent it to my wife because I was like, I'm gonna record this, make some content on it. I didn't think I was gonna fall. I was just like, this will be good B-roll content. And I have a 5-minute recording. I sent it to my wife because I saw it and I fucking laughed so hard.
Yeah.
And I knew she was gonna laugh, so I sent it to her, and she just started bursting out laughing. She couldn't
Yeah.
control it. And
It
we
looked
just
like
thought
a hard fall,
We
man.
just thought it was funny, and we're
Yeah.
like, "Is it no sound gay?"
Yeah.
But then I posted that video. It got so much backlash in the first like day
Yeah.
because people thought I was doing B.I.B.
Yeah.
disrespecting, and I'm like, holy. For a second, I was overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Bro, I was like, oh my God, like that's my first taste into like the media negative world, right? Other than that, we're just posting real estate stuff.
Yeah.
No one's gonna say, "F you, realtor."
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
this one. They're like, you should be quit Sikhi. You should not be a part of the Pantha.
Yeah.
We need to call the Jathedar from Akal Takht and get you banned from this. I was like, bro.
Yeah.
So now, like, you telling me about these 500 comments, and you're young. Like, I can just relate. Like,
Yeah.
I wish I could relate to that at that age.
Yeah.
It took
No,
me-
you don't want to relate to
No,
that.
I don't.
Yeah,
I was like, I
You-
can what is
You
the
can
right word?
empathize.
Empathize.
You can
But मैं
empathize.
क्या सी मैं school नहीं गया. So
कोई ना,
so
कोई ना.
language थोड़ी off है.
No,
But I can empathize.
You can
with you, bro.
empathize. No, and the beauty of like, I mean, it still sucks today, but like, people forget,
Yeah.
right?
Absolutely.
So like, the beauty of today is like anything. It's something today.
It's for
in
the-
a week, something else will happen.
Even less, bro.
Yeah, maybe
Couple-
even less,
even
right?
less,
But
yeah.
like the max is a week. I lived in a time where it was like one, like, this is a time where somebody would drop an album and you listen to the album for the full year.
Yeah.
Right? And
Yeah.
this is a time where Just Rain dropped a video and you would watch it for, over and over again for 2-3 months, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
because like we had such little content, so you had to dissect and
Yeah.
enjoy and talk
Yeah.
about things and share it.
Yeah.
So like this is like, again, I'm early adopter, and it was my fault because I was such an early adopter to everything. I was the first, like,
Go through it.
thing person to like, again, and the thing is, like, my first song was called YouTube Haters,
Yeah.
and I now look back at it and I'm like, I kind of manifested it, but I also kind of saw it coming. I'm like, you're the first Sardar to try to rap.
Yeah.
And now it seems like a very normal thing. Like, you didn't even flinch, but like 10-20 years ago, it's like
Bro.
a Sardar trying to rap. Yo, you trying to act black?
Yeah. That
Yo,
was
you
the
think
thing.
you're gangster? You're gangster? And I'm like, bro, I'm rhyming words on a beat. What what is that? How, you know what I mean? Like, how
Yeah.
does that contextualize into all these other things? Yes, it's a black art form, and I have a lot of respect for black people and their art form. But like, you know what I mean? Like, it was and it was just so tough trying to like battle that.
Okay.
And not only with young people, it was also with older people.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, it was just tough, and it was a time where you couldn't escape it.
Yeah.
And I couldn't escape it for like 5, 6, 7 years. Like, it was like a long time. Like, no matter what I did, I remember I would like try to do different things, try to change it up, try to be more vulnerable, and it was just like, because it became like a brand.
Yeah.
Like, let's just hate on this guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And sometimes like that's just how it goes.
Yeah, man. And guess
And
what?
you said when did it change? Yeah,
Go ahead.
That was your question, right? Like,
We could segue into that. I think it kind of goes into my next thing. I was gonna just say, I think that's what makes you who you are today is,
course.
Going through all your journey, right? And that's what a lot of this podcast I like to share is like, not just the individual and the highlights, the music is the journey behind it, right? You're talking about sleeping in crappy
Studios.
hotels, studios,
Yeah.
the things that we don't see, right? When we see, I think today's age where social media and YouTube and Instagram verified all this, your image online is like, that's like, oh my God, right? But then you meet the real individual and like, oh man, we're just people.
Yeah, of course.
Right? We're just connecting with other people. And I want to know like what was that journey like? So which goes into the thing when it changed and maybe a little bit, I know we mentioned you basically resigned and said, I'm going on tour.
Yeah. Or no, just to the one show.
One
one show.
So you're like, hey, I'm
Must see show, man. Let's go do that.
You're like, Best Buy, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
But how did the link happen between you? Like, so here's what's in my mind right now. You're going to college, you're producing, you're going through the hate, you're going through the life. Here's the time where you're at Zeus. How did you meet Zeus? How did you guys link?
Yeah.
Was that the change that got into this next chapter of Fateh?
I think it was a few things. It wasn't, I think, I look back at it, and the universe works in a miraculous way.
I guess we both didn't go to school.
Yeah, I mean, I went to school, but you can see how it worked. But it just worked in a really like interesting way because I really believe that now, actually, from what life is. The universe will throw what you want at you when you're ready for it.
Yeah.
And sometimes we want things right now, and you weren't ready for it. And I look back at the 10 years that I was, dropping. I think I dropped like 6 mixtapes, right? Like they're 20 songs each, and I was just like, when am I getting on? Like, why is no one, taking me seriously?
Yeah.
Why am I not getting the calls? I remember when I was 16, I tried to give my demo to Zeus, but I couldn't get into the club because I was too young.
Yeah.
I had given my demo to Tiger Style when I was like, again, 16.
Yeah.
They were in the Bay for something. It was at a reception, a wedding reception, and they were there. And I took my CD, and I was like, yo, man, you guys are singing, I'm going to sing, let's do this. Never got a call back.
Yeah.
But like, I look at that, and I'm like, I'm glad it didn't happen earlier because I wasn't ready for it. And then when I went through all the hate, when I had dropped all the music, so things just kind of aligned, and it happened at the perfect time in hindsight now. It happened at a time where, okay, I knew what I started to figure out what I was doing wrong musically or career-wise or brand-wise.
Okay.
So, I figured that out for myself. Then I had already created this work ethic of like recording quick. Like, bro, like at that time, I remember like if you wanted me to do a song, bang out a song in an hour and a half, bang it out, right? Recorded, written, sent you the files. I had developed that work ethic,
Yeah.
which at that time wasn't like normal.
Yeah.
So like once I developed that skill, developed who I was, got a little bit older, and started tying my the star properly and all that stuff. Zeus had saw a video on YouTube. He was looking for some rappers, and
Yeah.
he saw a video. There was a song called "Standing Ovation." It was an Ace Hood song that I had redone. At that
Okay.
time, you were remaking a lot of songs, right? Like Wayne
Yeah.
was,
Use the
and I had done a
beats.
video with an old Honda in the car in the back. And he had saw that, and then he was like, "Yo, I want to talk to this guy." He had hit up my boy Harry B from Union City,
Okay.
and Harry B, being the giving person he is, like he didn't know me, and I barely knew him,
Yeah.
but he figured out a way to get in touch with me and was like, "Yo, Zeus wants to tap in with you."
Yeah.
But at that time, bro, like I thought it was a scam, like some random guy hitting you on Facebook, like, "Yo, Zeus wants to get in contact." Yeah, right,
Yeah.
right.
That
Because I
back
had
in
gone
those
through
days.
that already.
Yeah.
There were so many times, "Oh, Punjabi MC wants to hit you," I'd like, da da da. It never went nowhere, and I
Yeah.
like both takra dini cheezaं khadiyan, hai na?
हाँ जी, हाँ जी.
And I was like, okay, and like I was so like, this is not gonna happen. It was
Yeah.
like such a joke to me. I'm like, cool, give him my number. Here's my number,
Yeah.
which is still my number to this day.
Yeah.
And bro, like a week later, Zeus called me. And it was like an England number, and
Yeah.
I'm like England number, England number,
England.
and I was like, who is this? He's like, it's Zeus. I'm like, stop playing, man. He's like, bro, mahi huh? Zeus yeah. And he's like, yeah, I want to send you a song. I'm like, oh shit, it's actually Zeus, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I heard your stuff, like you're good, da da da. And I couldn't take him seriously because all this hate, all this stuff that I
So
like. There's no way Dr. Zeus wants to send me a
so it was
song.
just yeah.
Like it just didn't.
So
It
they
didn't
were
seem
just like
real. It was just
another
like
scam or Joby. Yeah.
scam or like, okay, this is not gonna go nowhere
Yeah.
because he's
Yeah.
gonna find out that everybody doesn't like me or people think I suck and blah blah. And like he'll catch wind of it and he
Sure.
might not. Because there was people at that time where I was working with or I was friends with that were like, yo, we can't work together anymore because like people just don't like you.
Damn.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
like I had friends like, yo, my friends talk a lot of shit about you. I can't be hanging out with you like that. So at the other time, we dekhe hue hai, right?
Just because you
Because
rap.
like publicly, no, not because
Nah.
I rap. Because publicly, it had became a spectacle to hate on Fateh,
It was just a thing
to talk
to
shit about
fucking
Fateh, to like he's whack, he's this, he's that. Like
Yeah.
it had publicly become a thing,
Yeah.
and like that, and I became this poster boy of like this bad whatever it was,
Yeah.
and then other rappers or other people who were doing similar things to me had become like championed and trophied. Like we like this, not that, right?
Yeah.
Over something that like whatever people created. So yeah, like I had people step away from me. So when Zeus did that, I was just like, damn, like this is not actually happening.
Yeah.
But here's where preparation meets the timing and opportunity. So Zeus sent me a song. He's like, I need you to do the song. I'm gonna send it to you. I'm how many verses you need. He's like, give me 3. And he's like, I'll pick the best.
Yeah.
I was like, cool, done. I'm like, when you sending me the beat, he's like, I'm gonna send you the beat and I'm gonna send you the instrumental.
Yeah.
Give me your email. I'll send it to you. I was like, cool. And I waited a couple days, whatever. He sent it to me like in a week.
Yeah.
And I kid you not, I'm pretty sure he sent it to me. And within 4 hours, I sent him everything back.
Yeah.
And 4 hours because like it took an hour or two for me to see the email.
Yeah.
The minute I got it, boom, just like jumped in the studio, recorded the 3 verses, sent him the files,
Yeah.
sent him everything. And he called me. He was like, "Did you actually just do this right now?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He said, "You go to a studio?" I'm like, "No." I'm like, "I have a studio at the house."
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, you have a studio?" And he's like, "You did it that fast? You wrote it?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Damn, that's crazy, right?" So
Yeah.
he like, I didn't hear from him after that for a bit, and I'm like, "Oh, maybe he didn't like it." Then all of a sudden, he called me. Maybe like 2 months later.
What year is this?
I don't remember what year it is. I think it's 2012 or 13.
Okay.
2012.
Okay.
The song was the first song he sent me was Jue Diyahana with me and Madan Maddi.
Okay.
And I gave him 3 verses. The verses stuck. And then he called me like 2-3 months later, and he's like, "Listen, man, like I sent that song to a bunch of other rappers.
Yeah.
Some never got it to me. So like they still haven't gotten it to me. Some haven't. Some's verses or whatever were trash. Some people, whatever it was." And he's like, "Out of everything, I like your work ethic. Like you just got it done." And he's like, "What if I send you more songs?" I'm like, send me some more songs.
Yeah.
He sent me more songs, banged them out same day, and he was surprised because he's like, he works that fast. He's like, when he jumps something, he wants to finish it.
Yeah.
So he's like, yo, if you keep working like this, I'm gonna keep sending you songs.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, keep sending me songs. I got you. And then it just started, and it just like he was sending me, bro, like. I remember we had finished the Bilal Saeed. I had done it. He had sent me 5 songs. I did 5 songs within that same weekend.
Yeah.
And I got to a point where it was like a come each. I didn't know who the singer was.
Yeah.
I didn't know where it was going, if it was ever going to come out, because there's a lot of stuff that never came out.
Sure.
But I was just like, just churning it out.
You were just coming on there as the rap.
Yeah. As you hear on the songs, as you hear on Bandu, as you hear on the Bilal Saeed, it was just like. Never asked for no money. Never like Zeus still paid me, but it wasn't for the money. It wasn't for like I want to be in the music video. No, I'm just like, bro, this is my dream to be able to rap. With Zeus,
Zeus hit you up.
and then like to be able to rap with some incredible artists that are like massive, that are on real labels, and like all this stuff that's like just seems so far fetched.
Yeah.
And then man.
And I think that's when things you could say took off to the next level.
I mean, I think it still took time.
Yeah.
I think it took a lot of time.
Okay.
I think it was like building blocks. I don't think it was overnight, which I'm thankful for.
Sure. Because I think overnight is always like, here today, gone tomorrow.
Yeah.
But it was a good building. I think it built slowly.
Bro, I haven't done a podcast or interview in like years.
Yeah. How's it feel?
Feels great. How does it feel for you?
It feels really good, man. Just listening to your story, your journey. There's a lot, like I said, and that's the stuff it empowers me, man. It gives me motivation, bro. Like I can only imagine those young ages going through hate, and like it's not just hate for a day, but like you said, like ajkal hate mildi hai ek do din hafte lai. It's like you said it. You're like, no, bro. Like I was just in the fucking community as you have to hate on this guy. Like I had become that person. Like, bro, like how much how strong you had to become. And,
it does make you strong
through those barriers.
Absolutely.
And I think it sets you up for your career. Which, when did that really start taking off? As we move into this segment, as far as your music career, right? You're banging out songs through Zeus.
Yeah.
You get to that day where you go to do that one show in Oslo, in Norway. What happened after that, bro? When did you start kind of going out there and talking about some of these songs that we were talking about earlier, like Nate John?
It was then, like right after that, like right when I think during the Oslo time, I remember I think I met Jazzami at that time.
Okay.
And we had done Zulfa and that other song that him and I have, I forgot the name. That's the song. I don't sometimes
no.
No, she don't remember either.
Sheesh, I bet she does.
And then in that time, like because of that trip, I remember like I'm pretty sure we recorded Inch on that trip.
Yeah.
I did Black Suit around that time. Man, I had gone to India. Like we were just like, I don't know, it just happened fast.
Yeah.
And again, preparation meets opportunity. So I was just like churning them out.
Yeah.
And it's kind of hard, right? Like to say like, oh yeah, we did this one song, it blew up, and now we're here.
Yeah.
It wasn't like that, right?
Yeah.
It was like we were doing songs that, certain things were taking off in certain regions.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff wasn't taking off in Canada. Like Black Suit wasn't big in Canada.
Yeah.
I don't remember Bandu being big in Canada.
Or India, right?
It was bigger in India.
Yeah.
It was bigger in Pakistan and in other countries. But like where I was predominantly America, Canada, UK, those songs weren't that big.
I used to bump it. Bendu.
Yeah. I mean, now everybody's like, that was my favorite song. But when I was walking around the streets, no one was like, oh, I know you from Bendu, right?
Yeah.
But now everybody loves that song. So, I guess when did it really just take off? Like, I think Inch. I think Inch was the pinnacle of like, okay, like we're solidified now. Like I'm solidified in the sense that like we have this massive song.
Yeah.
It's everywhere. Then like like the other songs now I had realized that they were doing well as well. Black Suit, Bandu, there's so many other ones that I don't remember, but
So going back to, I'm gonna connect this to like as this is going on and you guys are starting to see the recognition, you're starting to see these are starting to hit off in different regions. How did the hate that was just going on years ago, did that start going away?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know. It just. When
did you feel like, well, bro, people like I'm not that. I don't got to wear my glasses and my hat anymore. Like I can walk around being myself. Like people like me.
I started feeling that when I had a community. So once I met like Just Rain and like I knew these guys from a long time.
Yeah.
But like I didn't start hanging out with them till like after all this happened.
Yeah.
And then like I think like Jagmeet and Grathan and Just Rain and Babbu and his brother and everybody kind of like reached out because I knew them from around the way. Like I used to see them all the time, and they were like, "Yo, like." You're a good dude. Like you shouldn't be getting all this hate.
Yeah.
And they kind of like they took me in, and they also kind of sat me down. It's like, hey man, like maybe you shouldn't wear your partika like that, or maybe you shouldn't say certain things because it doesn't look good with your image. As a big brother should. And I'm an only child. I never had an older brother.
Yeah.
So I never had that kind of guidance for somebody
awesome,
to be like, yo, like when they did that, I think that's kind of when I got out of my shell again, and I found my community and I found my confidence.
Yeah.
And then, once that happened, like the zoo stuff happened, and I was still never like, oh, people are going to show me a lot of love or whatever.
Yeah.
But like the zoo stuff happened, and then, it started to change, man. It started to change. And I think it was still around locally.
Yeah.
Until my first album dropped.
Okay.
And I remember like Bring It Home. It's what I would say it's like a classic. Like if you wanted to listen to Punjabi hip hop, I think it's up there. I think it's number one, honestly. But like, you know what I mean? As far as like that for that time of how forward thinking it was and what kind of album that was, I had worked really hard on that album.
What year did you drop that?
2016.
Okay.
2016 was my first like actual album.
Yeah.
That's what Prophecy's on there. Fame is on there. 15 Minutes with Amar Sandhu's on there. Mickey Singh's on there. Like all these guys that I'm still in touch with now. So I had dropped that album, and I think then people were like, okay, because then it's easy. Oh, this guy's just like a feature artist, like whatever. He's just filling in the gaps. Like people were saying, because people always find a reason, and that was never my motivation to prove people wrong. Maybe it was. I don't know. When I dropped the album, a lot of the comments started going, all right, I never liked this guy, but this is a great album.
Yeah.
I never liked this guy, but real recognized real. There's a lot of hard work that went into this album, and I could see it for what it is.
How'd that make you feel when you started to see like people's opinion about you starting to change?
I think it was gratifying in the sense that like, again, that wasn't my purpose. I do get driven by hate when people still tell me I can't do something. I'm like, I want to do it more.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe that's the only child in me. Like when someone says like, "Tu kar nahi sakta, tu rap nahi kar sakta," I'm like, "Main kar ke dikhaun." Right. Maybe it's the Anki Punjabiness in me, but like that is in me. So I wasn't like by that time, bro. Like I had been so like immune to hate and all that stuff that like even the positive stuff didn't get me high. And like I wasn't like, I guess like I look back at it and I'm like, the reason I feel like I'm a very level human being, and I've never been like, tooting my own horn or like I'm some crazy, whatever celebrity or whatever. Because like people will be like, yo, like you're so humble. It's like, man, like I've seen both sides of fame. I've seen the really bad negative side of fame, and I've seen a positive, great side of fame. And I think I like being right here, like just right in the middle. And like like not letting the love get to you too. Where you get big headed and you think that you're the best and koi tera rok nahi sakta, but also not letting the hate bring you down. And still staying in Chardi Kala, as we say in Sikhi, and like being in that.
And and talking about fame and his journey as your these songs and your album dropped, and I remember some of those songs just hitters. Right. And your journey meeting names like we talked about this Sidhu, right? How was that? In which context did you meet him? How did you meet him? I really want to know that story. Is there anything that you guys talked about that maybe he left an impact on you?
Yeah, man. I mean, rest in peace, Sidhu Moosewala, right? Justice for him. He was a good dude, man. Like, obviously, I had a handful of run-ins with him. And it's like a lot of people don't know it, but it was cool. Like he was a good dude. I don't know if it was the first time I met him, but when Prophecy recorded Sone Lagde, they didn't have an engineer. So like I obviously know how to work a studio. So Prophecy's like, yo, can you engineer the session? It's gonna be me and Sidhu. So I was like, all right, cool. So I engineered the session. I have photos too. That's like the first time I met him. It was dope. Then I would just see him around the way. I remember he used to go to the same gym as me.
Yeah.
So I'll see him at the gym, and he'd be like, "Huh, bro, yeah, man, blood pressure, thale kar rahe hain, this, that, and the other." So it was like he was cool. He was like really, really like a humble dude. He was the only person I could say that was like humble, as in like he could talk to you at a level, but you knew he was like confident as like he really believed in himself. Like he had this like confidence that was almost like infectious. Like you're wowed by how confident he was, and even the things he would say. Like him and I had conversation. I was like, damn man, this guy really really believes in himself.
Yeah.
And as he should.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't think I'm pretty sure he was like that from even before that. Like,
sure.
Cause like he was just very, very confident, which I loved. Yeah, there's a context I knew him in was, so those are the two contexts. One like with the shoot, the video. Then at the gym, sometimes I would see him, his Range Rover would be outside and Mario Sidhu's here. And then the other times I met him was when he had his American tour. Then I opened for him in LA, Fresno, New York.
Yeah.
Oh, and then Toronto as well. Okay. Yeah, so I had done an opening act right before he had gone on in those cities. I think he had a pretty big tour, and then I was just opening up for some of those, and we hung out. I think one of the things that he said to me that still sticks to me till this day, and I don't know why he said it to me. You know what I mean? I never had this conversation, and we never had a deep interaction or anything like that. But actually, there's two things that he said to me that stuck to me. There was one was he was like मैं लाइफ च एक चीज सीखी है कि जेडी चीज दे पिछे मैं भजदा हां ओ मेरे तो भजदी जांदी है दूर. He said whatever I run after, it keeps running away from me. Yeah. He's like, when I stopped running, they started running towards me. He's like, you know what I mean? And I found that so interesting. Yeah. He's like, I guess I took that as when you work hard and you focus and you put your mind to what you need to be doing, those things will come at you.
Start attracting.
Yeah, you'll start attracting it. And sometimes when you're chasing after something, you're almost unattracting it. It's almost running away, repelling it almost, right? Yeah. And I don't know why that was something he said to me, but it always stuck to me, and I have to remind myself of that all the time, because in this fast-paced world we live in, we're always chasing after something, chasing after views, chasing after likes, chasing after finances, all that kind of stuff. And I have to remind myself, the more you run after this and focus your energy on getting the views, and you're not focusing on actually working hard or the things that you should be doing, or relaxing or reading or studying or whatever it is, that thing's going to keep running away from you, and you're just going to get frustrated, and out of frustration, nothing good comes. That, and then another thing he said to me that I really liked was, that I found so fascinating was, he was like, your song, to me, he's like, your song, Her Voice, it's on my second album, To Whom It May Concern. Yeah. He's like, I really like that song. Okay. And I'm like, what? He's like, yo, the way you did it, that's a really dope song. And that song, I'm talking in the perspective of a female, and I'm talking to me. Okay. And it's in English too. And I just not that he didn't understand English, I just didn't think that's the song he would be like. And it's such a deep cut. You have to be a very Fateh fan to even know that song. Okay. And you have to listen to my albums, and you know what I mean? It's a deep cut. Yeah. And he was like, and that just goes to show how much of a fan of music he was. Yeah. And how much he studied music. He knew Big Pun, and he was Fat Joe, and all these, he was showing me all these beats from the 90s that we grew up to, that he was vibing with, and songs and all that stuff. And I'm like, bro, how do you know this? Yeah. You know what I mean? He's like, no, I rock with it, right? So it's he was a legit student of hip hop and music. Yeah. And yeah, man, it was just fascinating. It was always a really good time to be around him.
It sounds like you got some good takeaways from the conversations that you guys had that you still remember today.
Absolutely, man.
And going into this little phase here of putting out really good music, you're breaking into another level of Fateh himself. Yeah. Right? And what after COVID, right? So this is that era, right? How have you changed as a person as you went from some of those songs to kind of what you're created coming out with now and your recent journey.
Yeah.
I've seen, and we were talking about this before. How's that been like, man?
Tough.
Tell me about it.
That's the only thing I could think of. It's been tough.
What's been tough about it?
I can't even I don't even know where to start, man. Like, what's been tough about like COVID?
I would say what's more recently.
Like, okay, yeah. I think the better way to. What's been tough? Okay, I think it was anybody that was kind of like doing well at that time, and maybe not anybody. So let's really back me. So before COVID, like I'm about to go on a 10-city tour. My third album, New Memories, had come out. I at the New Land was doing really, really well. Jotiana was doing well. Like I had like all this stuff planned out. Yeah. First solo tour.
Yeah.
So my goal was always like to like become a solo artist. Like even after Zeus, like Zeus stuff had done amazing, but then to myself, I'm like I gotta be a solo artist. So I started again from ground zero and building that up.
Yeah.
And I built my solo career up, and then where I was funding everything, music videos, projects, all that stuff. So third album finally, like, still my best streaming album to this day, had done well. We're gonna go on tour. COVID came and canceled everything.
Yeah.
And then TikTok came, then algorithms came, then COVID changed everything because algorithms came, TikTok came, everything happened, right? And I'm from the era where I would just post a photo of new song and I'm like guaranteed whatever X amount of streams and my fans are listening to it and merch is coming and then they're buying it and all that stuff, and algorithm really changed everything. And we were spoiled from that generation where we weren't fighting the algorithm. We built pure fan base off of like the hard work and the music and all that stuff. And that when you had 300,000 followers, 80% of your people are seeing it because you built this following. Yeah. Right? When 300 actually, they clicked it because they were followers, not because they saw a random reel. Yeah. Like they heard your music, whatever. So I came from that era, and algorithm and everything changed it like heavy. Yeah. Then like I dropped an album, I dropped another album, and I love those albums. It was Goes Without Saying and Hate That I Love You, those two albums that I dropped. And like they didn't do that well. Yeah. And like it was like, okay, then like music had changed. And like then like it was like Punjabi music became rap, which I'm confused. I was so confused by it. I'm like, wait, this is rap? Like I went 10 years getting hated on for wanting to rap, and now Punjabi music's rap. Like you know what I mean? So and I credit myself for being so ahead of the game, and being the first of the order and first sick to like really come out here and do what I was doing. And even though I don't get credit for it, it's fine. But I was really the first.
Well, first, I'm gonna say we're gonna give credit to being the first Singh Sardar that I knew back in 2006 that was rapping, right? Versus the new generation that's here that's like, oh yeah, Mami Karna.
Yeah, which is great.
You've been doing it for a while. So
and this was a dream of mine, is like to be able to like open doors for the next generation, to be like, yo, other things are gonna make music, rap, sing, whatever it is, like. That's something we wanted, right? Because we came from a generation, I don't know about you, but like I did, where it was like, oh, like it wasn't cool to be a sing. Brother. Girls didn't want to date a sing. Yeah. My generation. And I'm like, like I really wanted I would say Jagmeet, like we all were like, yo, we felt that in our day-to-day lives, and we were like, no, we got to make things cool. We got to make this thing something to be confident in, and instill that in others. And I'm glad I was able to do that in the music realm, and I'm proud of that.
And let's talk about that, and I'll kind of circle back to it. But you know what drives you to continue, like your journey of being a sing, right? Tying the star, being in the music industry, around the type of industry. And not trying to fit in, like, how was that journey, man?
It's good, man. It's all I know. Yeah. When you grow up in a small city in California, and you're around no one that looks like you from first grade to 12th. Yeah. That's all you know. Like, this is who I am. So it's like, you never fit in. You never did. Yeah. So like, why try to fit in now? You know what I mean? So I guess once again, like life had prepared me for that. Life had prepared me to not fit in. And then when I got into the industry, I realized I didn't fit in, but it didn't hinder me. It didn't make me run. It didn't make me want to change because I'm like, man, I've been through 9/11.
Yeah.
You know, as a
Absolutely.
saying in my family, you know, and all the bullying and the racism and all that stuff as growing up, like I've been through it all. It's like, okay, cool. Like here's another step and here's
Yeah.
another hurdle and you're just going to go through it. And I don't know, like I really pride myself on not ever having to change myself for anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not for a girl, not for music,
Yeah.
not for, you know, to fit in at school or anything like that. I'm just like, "Nah, this is who I am, take it or leave it." Like
Yeah.
I've never drank in my life and I sit in circles all the time where people are drinking and doing that stuff. And I'm sitting here like, I know who I am. I'm very,
Yeah.
very confident in who I am and I don't need to change myself for anybody.
I respect that, man.
Yeah, and I don't know where that comes from. Maybe that
Yeah.
comes from being a Sardar all my life and, you know, having to go through the hurdles that I've gone through. But, like, I don't know. That's just,
You know, it's funny. We're talking about I'm sitting here with you, but
Yeah.
let's say, you know, this wasn't here before when I saw you on social or just years in the past.
Yeah.
The first image that would always come up is like, man, that's a Singh, like a Sardar, like he's out there like achieving his goals and dreams,
Yeah.
right? And making a difference. And then fast forward, here we are today. Right, and it sounds like you had a lot of good support, a lot of good groups. Sounds like Jagmeet guys,
Yeah.
and they're all I know of them, right? We're social media. The world is connected.
We're all
know
connected.
Everybody, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It sounds like you guys are pushing for a much bigger mission.
Yeah. We
right.
were. I think we achieved it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
I think we achieved it.
tell me-
I think the mission was to instill confidence in Singhs and Gars, right? I think it was to bring our community closer to our true Sikh values and like to also just let people know that, hey, like there's other career paths and other things that you can decide, whether it's in the arts or politics or whatever it is, fashion, whatever it is. And I think Toronto gets a lot of credit for it, man.
Yeah.
Like
You guys are the hub,
if
man.
you guys look back at it, and you know who else was doing it, and it's not just us three. I'm gonna say it stemmed from our crew, our greater crew that like, you know, that we were pushing that agenda early, bro.
Well, I see it because I think you look at, you know, you're talking about Babu and Just Rain guys from back in the day that you're all in different lines of fields, but you're empowering more.
We're all hanging out.
Youth,
and
right?
we're all hanging out and helping each other out, man.
You guys have the stars, your Singhs, Sajdeya, and it's like, what I see with the kids right now, you know, I do a lot of coaching, is I seen a lot of kids that were monne, is 15, 16 now, they're 18, 20, you know, and they're growing out their darties, the stars, getting closer. You know, what is your goal, man? You know, if you could pick one thing, a legacy to be remembered by, what's the bigger picture?
Oh, man, I think my goal was to just be able to instill confidence.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have it growing up. To be like, you know, like a role model to other Singhs, like younger Singhs, that, hey, like, you know, you can dress cool, you could be cool, you don't have to drink, you don't have to smoke, but you could still go and, you know, be a rapper, be in music, you could still be a model citizen, you could still be a model Sikh, you could still believe in your Sikh values, and you keep your Sikhi to whatever level you want, and you know, that's what it is. Like I remember it was my generation was like either you're like Sikh, like hardcore, like you're at the Gurdwara and you're Amritari, and which is great. I love that. Or you're the other, they're opposite. You're a partying, you're drinking, you're smoking,
there's no in
and that,
between,
you know, unfortunately, I couldn't fit into both molds at that point. But you know, there was things about Sikhi that I gravitated towards, and there's things about music and hip hop and culture and fashion and arts that I gravitated towards, and I just kind of had to make my own space, and you take up space, and I made it my own. And I think that like I would like to say that I've inspired other people to do the same. Whether they know it or not consciously, like I did have to kick down this door. I did have to have those conversations with Zeus when Zeus would tell me that like, oh yeah, they don't want you in the music video because they don't want like a guy with the damalla in the video. Like I've been through that, you know what I mean? Or like a guy with the dardi in the music video. I talk about it in Fame. You know what I mean? So like I've been through those hurdles. but we fought those hurdles, and it became cool to have me in the videos then they were fighting for me to be in the videos because then I didn't even want to do the videos because I hate doing music videos. So it's like it's crazy how that 360 happened, and now we have a lot more sings like this new generation that are, you know, singing, rapping, they're doing great things.
And talking about new generation, any new or recently new artists, because there's always a new artist coming out that you've been vibing, listening to, small or big, or even undiscovered?
Nah, I don't know if there's anybody undiscovered. Like, I listen to more hip hop, like actual, like just rap. You know what I mean? I listen to my 42 Doug and ESTG and like T Grizzly and all that, like real like hip hop stuff, and obviously J. Cole's, Drake's, and all that stuff. But I really like V Sings out of New York. He barely drops any music, but really loved him. Like last year, I was listening to everything he did last year. And then who else? There are people that I've been waiting for this question because I'm like, yo, I gotta say it. But there are other people that
basically you're giving a shout out to some people right now.
Who else? Like that I actually listened to. I'm gonna say him, and then I really like Gunner's new project. Gunner Aljo's new project. I think he's doing great. I think he's pushing the culture forward to another level, which is dope. And like it's great to see.
The whole industry, as the Punjabi music industry, has been in it just from being outsiders and seeing where it was, how it started. For someone who never listened to Punjabi music, who like slowly kind of get into it. Just how close and together it's getting connected with everything else. Like you said, right? What is this Punjabi? Is this rap now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean that's what they're calling it. They're saying it's rap.
Yeah, it's Punjabi rap. Right.
It's interesting. That's so interesting to me.
What about for you, man? Like, what's the future look like? Any plans? Anything new in the life of Fateh? Besides the obvious that we won't talk about.
The obvious. And then album, man. I got my next album ready. It's mixed and mastered, ready to go. It's something that I've been working on for a while.
Okay.
I think, just to overshare, I'd rather overshare. Please. I think, going back to COVID and all that stuff, I think there was a level of complacency that I came to. Once things start working for you, it becomes like a machine. It's like, all right, cool. Like, I'm going to drop an album. It's going to do well. And then I'm going to go on tour. And like, that's kind of how you start thinking. You become a little bit more like you take it for granted.
Okay.
And I never thought I'd be the guy to take it for granted, but even I did. And then I think that's where I came to. And then now this next album, like I really had to like roll up my sleeves and get back to work. Like, and when I mean get back to work, I mean get back to work. Like, it wasn't like whatever the first verse you record is gonna be on the album just because I'm Fateh and it's the best verse. Like, no, like I went back to when my first album, Bring It Home, like the first verse on Fame, I rewrote that verse 4 times. Rewrote it over and over and over. I remember I sent Prophecy 4 different versions of that verse until I got it right. So I kind of tapped back into that energy for this album where I was like reworking, songs, production. I think I went through like 20 versions of my intro to make sure the intro was right, because I'm like, this has to be the craziest intro. And then same thing with some other songs that are on the album. Like a lot of songs, like really put in that effort, and everything was thought out very meticulously. Who's on the feature, why they're on it, why it fits, all that stuff. So I'm very excited for that album to come out.
So we're excited to hear it. If we continue on, you were talking about a little bit about complacency, and we can stitch this all into the podcast later on, but I want to touch on this. So what happened besides the change in the algorithm? It sounds like obviously, this is also your career, your livelihood. Algorithm, everything changed, COVID changed. Well, guess what? Here goes the income, right? So things change. It's not how it worked. What happened in your life? Like, what changed with you and your music from what it was to kind of which direction do you decided to go with?
I don't even know if I decided it. I think fate decided it for me. Like,
what do you mean?
Like, I didn't decide that, hey, like, like the shows aren't going to happen anymore and all that stuff. Like, I just kind of decided. And then what flipped was like, it's a positive thing that flipped, because never before that did you see Punjabi artists doing arena tours in North America. And after COVID, that happened. So for certain artists, it was a blessing, right? And I was one of those artists that I was like doing 500,000 cap room, 2,000 cap rooms. Like we were running around doing, you know, university gigs and all that kind of stuff. So like that had died out because those are the smaller rooms. And then when it came back, such big shows. Like there was an appetite for massive shows and not a big appetite for like smaller shows. And then there's also a surgence of brand new artists, which I'm super happy for, grateful for. And they started taking up that space, which I loved.
Just a lot of things happening all at once.
I just couldn't, I didn't know where I fit. And then like Punjabi music predominantly, like Punjabi music, when you're doing speaking tape, Punjabi rap, had become a predominant subgenre in North America, Canada, where what I was doing was kind of like melding the two of like Punjabi, English, kind of like doing a very, very hip hop fusion type of thing. Now, like, you know, the audience had not drifted, but moved to like listen to more of that, right? Like, I guess like when I dropped my first album, it was me doing hip hop, right? Mickey doing kind of like an R&B thing, and we were doing like our North American sound, and then Punjab was doing tol hip hop, not tol, like Punjabi Bhangra songs, right? So there's a big divide. I would say now it's like this. It's kind of.
I feel like
it's melted.
Hip-hop,
like, it's melted.
The beats are all just like you have the Punjabi rap,
you know, or
it's
the singer. It's mixed. Sorry,
you hear the bass, the trev, and you're like,
Okay. So there's no like right now. When you talk about popular Punjabi music, it's like it's a bit of mix of both now. So like I don't know, and then it was just hard to find my footing at that point and where I fit in. It's cool though. Like I think it took that time for me to like learn and, you know, grow. And then what I did for the last 4 or 5 years when I was, you know, still making music and doing all that, it was like I went back to ground zero. I'm like, okay, I've never learned how to songwrite. So I took courses on songwriting. Right? Like this is the stuff I tell people all the time that want to, you know, record and write and sing, like the new people. And I'm like, yo, like start from ground zero. Like if you really want to do this, like you got to learn it. So I learned how to songwrite. I learned how to mix better. I learned how to write better. Why lyrics matter and how to formulate better lyrics and how I can elevate that. Just went back to the craft, man. I went down to ground zero.
Development, man.
Personal development. I mean, that's what you need, right? Like if this is your career, if this is what you want to do, like you got to. So I'm like, okay, like, I'm not perfect and like I got to make myself better. That's why I look at this album. I'm like, man, this is 3 years, but like there's a lot of work.
3 years of work coming out, huh? You guys have a public release date, anything like that? Nothing
like
yet?
that. No,
Can you speak on any of this? Nothing?
No, I don't have anything to speak on. I just know the album's done, and then when I'm ready to release it, we're gonna release it. You getting the exclusive right now.
I know, man. I heard the intro.
Yeah, you heard the intro, right? What did you think about the intro?
The Punjabi Drake. I told you that in the car. I was like, the way you're coming, and I say that in such a compliment, right? With your lyrics, your emphasis, and I think when you asked me, Hardeep, listen to this, like, hey, when I get your undivided attention, I think I was texting, I put my phone away. I really wanted to listen to the emotion that was coming out. And that's what got me a little excited. I was like, okay, it sounds like there's been a lot of changes. You know, I could tell from your voice and the way you're rapping those lyrics, which go hard. First of all, they go hard, but it was not just lyrics that go hard. It was emotion coming out of you. So it really resonated on a different frequency. And I loved it.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited for people to hear that.
The music, the beats, everything, you know. I'm a big beat guy. Sometimes if I don't like the beat, I'll just like tune out of the lyrics. So you hit the combination of everything.
Beautiful. I hope, and I think I did it throughout the album.
No, man.
Like, I think anybody who hears this album will be like, shit, this is a new level of Fateh. Because my own my friends are my biggest critics, and I've been showing my friends the album, which I haven't done in the last 3 albums. I've just done the music by myself, haven't really shown anybody. I post it. So like this time I'm like, I've been shopping it. I've been sending it to my friends. I've been sending it to other artists, peers, getting their opinions, getting their honest feedbacks. And I know the people around me will obviously give me the honest feedback. And even I know how to gauge it now when I show somebody a song, if they like it or actually like it. Yeah, man, and I'm wild. I'm not surprised by their what's it called, their reactions, because I know what I can do in the studio, and I know if I put my mind to it, I can create some incredible stuff. And I think this body of work, I wouldn't be surprised if it's looked at as like my best album. I wouldn't be surprised.
Hey man,
Yeah.
you know, the universe will reward, man.
Of course,
it sounds like you put both mental aí, both काम kita.
Yeah.
You worked hard, and you know, kande ape bij ape ikaw, right?
Yeah.
So it sounds like you put in a lot of work.
Absolutely.
And the universe will reward, man.
Yeah, definitely.
Anything else you want to touch in, man? Maybe you want to share something.
Let's talk about Seattle for a second.
Sure. What's up with Seattle?
Man, well, you tell me what's up with Seattle. What's there to do here, man?
What's there to do?
Does the podcast know? Do they know that we're in Seattle?
They're gonna know that you're in my studio.
Yeah, so we're in Seattle right now. I've been fascinated with Seattle for years.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
But here I'm here. Something always just like brings me here somehow, some way. I know very few people here.
Yeah.
I know you now, so we're gonna hang out and get more coffee together. But that's it. You know, you tell me like what's bubbling in Seattle. Like I know you interview a lot of people from Seattle.
Sure.
Yeah. Like tell me how do you find Seattle in the last 10 years? Or you've been here since 2012, right?
2012. Yeah. I mean, I think Seattle has become a home for me.
Mm-hmm.
It just kind of you left Cali when you were 18.
Yeah,
I left Cali when I was 18.
Okay.
Right. I left the house. So, but you could say, I stumbled across being here in my journey in my life that brought me here.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, bro, I mean, met my wife here. So the best thing that could happen.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad God brought me over here.
Mm-hmm.
As far as what's there to do, if you're asking me, I'm the wrong person. Because I generally, you can ask my wife, I'll listen to podcasts, eat some good food, spend the time, go on walks, hikes.
Lots of nature here.
A lot of nature. I'm away from a lot of the big crowds and all that stuff. I think I was going to all the events and parties, and I remember years ago, I think they still do it at the schools. They bring some of the singers. Prophecy was here. So,
nice.
I was involved in that at that certain age in the mid-20s, but I think it's everything, man. I think food, good culture, economy, business, money, right? Careers, people that want to come here, be successful, entrepreneurship, opportunity. If I was growing up in Stockton right now, bro, I told you I'd probably be on a truck. But I told myself I'll never get on a truck. So I would have been finding something. But I think there's a lot to do. But it's really, really good outdoorsy town. I would say vibes, right? Nature, Pacific Northwest, the evergreen
so many
state,
trees,
green, shanti. But I always say whatever a person's into, they'll always find that wherever they go. Right. So you want to find coffee? We found some good coffee today. There's a lot more of that. Unless there's something specific that you're thinking of. Or we'll switch the role. We'll let you take control of if there's questions you got, bro. We'll have fun with it, man.
I got questions, man. Seattle, you like Seattle, a lot of nature here, a lot of tech, a lot of money here. That's cool. Okay, what else do I have for you? Do they know that you were in the military?
I think a lot of people do.
Okay.
Maybe not everyone.
Okay, well now they know.
Yeah.
Give me two valuable lessons you learned in the military.
The number one thing I think, I got my wife here who could, if you're on time, you're late. All right. So back then we call it muster up. We used to muster up. Muster would be meet up, gather up, do a little roll call. If it's at, 1800 military time, right? You're expected to be there,
1745.
Yeah. So 15 minutes prior, right? So that was one thing that I think over and over now as I move into my profession, you realize that you're showing up to an appointment, you're early, your client comes in after you, you're already in position, right? Meaning like, hey, you're a professional, they're coming to you versus me going up to, let's say I'm showing a house and the client's already there and I pull up, they're already at the door. I'm like, shit, sorry guys. It doesn't look good. If I'm there, I'm already inside the house, they're like, oh dang.
Yeah.
And you show up all the time. So I think it's made a big impact. This is cliche, but you hear this all the time. I think the military, what I learned at being in the military at the age of 18. Bro, it's a cutthroat operation.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
So is business.
So is the military.
Yeah.
They don't give a shit.
Yeah.
You break a rule, you don't follow a rule, you're done.
Wow.
And guess what? You know how they say it's not what you know, who you know? Right? I think it goes down, bro. It's the political world, man.
Yeah.
There's different levels in rankings. And if you're at the bottom of the rank, and guess what? You might have to do some things that you don't want to, but because your superior said it, you have to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you question, guess what? Who are they believing? Superior.
Yeah.
Right? So I think, and guess what? What I realize is people in the military are people that are coming from all over the world to get an opportunity to start. And most of us, bro, we come from a background where we're just a bunch of fuck ups, if that's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And all my military friends that still are connected, yeah, bro, we were all trying to look for a better path in our life.
Mm-hmm.
We come from all over the states, right? African. Can you know thodi English bhi hondi si? I had a good African, Rufai. His name was Rufai. I remember a good friend of mine. He'd be like, Hardeep Singh, how are you doing? Like, you know, straight African, but it's just trying to start a journey because, you know, I think we're all on the paths, right, of trying to figure out what we want to do and trying to grow and succeed. And you meet a lot of people, bro.
Got it.
A lot of personalities.
Good. Yeah, and you learn how to work with them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Makes sense.
And if you don't, you better.
Yeah. And you told me one thing that, like, once again, I don't know if they know, but we'll talk about it.
Sure, let's do it.
You said you came back and you started Sajaying at the start again.
Yeah.
Which was how many years ago? You said like
2019.
2019. So what was that like? What was that period like? And what was that point where you're like, yeah, I want to tie my the start again?
Yeah, brother. I think so. I grew up, you know, my parents Amritari, right? So swe note ke path karna, you know, Punjabi school everyday path, Japji Sahib Rehra Sham nu. So you grow up in a house that creates your foundation. But we don't know as kids what we're reading. Ek onkar da meaning kiya soche soch na ho je sochi lakfar. What does that mean? We're told to read, path karna. Je kuch ਦੁੱਖ ਸੁੱਖ ਜੋ ਵੀ ਆ ਦੁੱਖ ਆ ਪਾਠ ਕਰੋ ਪਰ ਜੇ ਹੁਣ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਸਮਝ ਨਹੀਂ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਸੀ ਕੀ ਪੜ੍ਹਦੇ ਆ right so first 18 years I had a dastar. When I joined the military was when I cut my hair and it wasn't that I wanted to. It was back then in 2010 you could not have long hair. So now it's changed. There's a lot of Sikhs and Singhs that are dastar and dadiyan, and because the world has changed. Right? So back then, that's when I cut my hair. I knew, you know, we went through 9/11 together, right? So all my friends started cutting their hair after a few years later, right? And I knew if I did something like that, or even in high school, I would probably got my ass beat by my dad, right? So I could never do it. But the military, I guess you could say, was a way out. And then it was a way for me to kind of leave where I started to do something. And then from the military to, let's say, 2019, from 2010 to 2019, those 10 years, it was just learning about who I was, which made me kind of go back into 2019 of retying a dastar. And I think it has a lot to do with things that you said. I was tired of running for myself, right? At the end of the day, I was born a Singh, and I'm gonna leave as a Singh. And one thing that I learned as I grew in my business and my career, one thing that we always learned is when you see a Singh, ਤੁਸੀਂ help ਪੁੱਛ ਸਕਦੇ ਆ, right? ਮੈਨੂੰ ਸਟੋਰੀਆਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਜੋ ਤੋਂ ਛੋਟੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ, ਜੋ ਕੋਈ ਬੰਦਾ ਘੁੰਮਦਾ ਆ, right? Harsimran's Nana says there's like koi Singh ਘੁੰਮਦਾ ਆ, ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਮਦਦ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ, the Singh Sardar will always be there to help. That's just what it was. And in my line of work, that's what we do. We help buyers and sellers achieve their goal of owning real estate, investing in property, making good financial decisions, right? So it was only right that I was, you know, in the Gore community. The first 4 years I worked with Gore, but I was helping. And they were happy. And then as I grew spiritually and I wanted to get closer, I was like, why Gore च मैं काम करदा, पर इन्हां नूं पता ही नहीं कौन आ, सिख की हुंदे आ. All right, so that was one of the internal drives. Like, I got to show my true form. Because back when I grew up, Gore thought, oh shit, he's a terrorist.
Yeah.
Hey, go back to your country. I got pushed in girls' bathrooms, this and that. All that shit happened.
Yeah.
Discrimination, all that. But they didn't know. So now that I'm older, I'm in my career and I'm making a difference, they deserve to see who's making a difference. It wasn't me. It's about our people. So that was that
journey. Yeah.
Journey, man. And I'm still on it.
Of course. We all are.
Physically, I'm not, all there, but that's okay.
That's totally okay. We're all on our own paths, bro.
Yeah. So I think a combination of just learning about who I am and rediscovering myself and my home, right? The foundation. Eventually I was like, okay, it's time. And then in 2019, I just one day just made the decision, said, all right, I'm never going to cut my hair again.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, as things, once we lose one, we usually never get them back. So
yeah.
I'm glad we got you back.
Yeah,
that's dope, man.
I'm glad we have you here.
Yeah.
Give me inspiration, give the next generation.
Of course.
And I think one thing that really touched me is like, man, you said we want to be able to show the next generation they can do whatever they want with whatever appearance and don't have to feel about getting judged.
Yeah, getting judged or like they can or can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, no, like you can't let that stop you. Yeah, for sure, man.
Be ourselves, be good people, and just try to do the best that we can.
Yeah.
Try to make a difference and hopefully, bring more people around you, like yourself around here that are on a bigger mission.
Yeah, I just want to say actually while we're on this podcast, yesterday I was at the mall and I ran into this couple who I don't know if they know you or not, but I was talking to them and I was talking about vendors in Seattle, which suck, by the way. And I mentioned you. I was like, I'm gonna go meet Hardeep tomorrow. We're gonna do a podcast, and they had nothing but good things to say about you. They're like, he helps out a lot in the community. He's out here. I just want to give you your kudos and your flowers because like it's not easy. And being the busy guy you are with real estate and podcasts and being married full time with 2 beautiful dogs. I'm sure, you could be using your time doing other things, but, you give back in whatever way, even doing this, like, you're helping give platform to people in Seattle that may never, ever have a chance to speak. It's a great thing. That's why I'm even here. It's like, just seeing what you're doing out here and like, just giving back. I'm like, I want to be a part of it in whatever way possible. So
no, absolutely.
Kudos
brother.
to you, man.
No, thank you very much, brother. I think you coming out here, it's a blessing, bro.
Of course.
And we're talking about this is grinding, and then once things start aligning, everything starts.
Yeah. Preparation meets opportunity, right? Like, I was here and you had this set up and you've already been doing it. So I'm like,
let's go.
It just makes sense,
Let's
right?
make it happen, man.
Yeah. So there that is. I mean, thank you so much for having me, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, bro.
Any closing thoughts, any comments, anything else you would like to share?
Nah, I think this was a great conversation. I think I haven't done one of these in a long time, like I was telling you.
Oh man.
Closing thoughts. I think we talked about like the hate and stuff that I had gone through. Yeah. A lot of people don't know there was a documentary done on it by Junos in Canada. Junos is our Grammy award. So during the off season, they do documentaries on local artists.
Yeah.
So they had done a full documentary. It's called Rising Fateh, and they kind of dive into that of that whole period, and they do interviews with my parents and my friends who kind of were in that period and saw all of that. Yeah. So I definitely recommend people check that out. Okay. It's a whole 20-minute documentary. It's great. Awesome. It's like a really deep dive into that section of my life.
Awesome, bro.
Other than that, yeah, man. Seattle, here we are. Big things happening this year.
We'll be seeing you more. Huh?
Yeah, you'll be seeing me more, and big things happening this year for me personally.
Super
and
excited for you, man.
My career. So yeah, man. And I'm happy I did this. So I appreciate you.
I appreciate you coming, man. Mm-hmm. A lot of exciting things coming.
Anytime. We'll do this again in like a year. And we'll be like, key change where I look like.
Yeah, key change. You'll probably get bigger. Looking like
maybe
some muscle on
maybe. Yeah.
Well, that's cool, man. Chalo.